I've had this sitting around a couple of years. My dad bought it for me. I don't know, he just saw it and thought of me. He's very much a man of the jet age, being 91. So he favours jets, and he bought me this, which I think is brilliant because it's a super, come on, what a rubbish word. It's a fantastic vehicle from long ago. And it's one of those with the paints, but for some reason I pulled them all off. The other thing is, which is really remarkable, for a couple of years I've been thinking, where have I got this weird little tray of largely metallic paints from? Well, now, yeah, well, there we go. Actually, the reason I did it is because I wanted to squeeze it in a small box, and it just gets in the way, so I've folded that over and it all fits in nicely. So I've managed to keep the info on the back. So let's open it and make it. And that's the back of the box. Showing you, well, not really the colour scheme, is it? Let's face it. But showing you the markings and stuff. There's the paint that I've got somewhere. Talking of somewhere, I've made one of these already when the computer was eating things and I had a very productive time. And I painted it black because I'd seen, as a kid, I'd seen a black one of these in action, well, not in action, flying, and it's always kind of possessed me. So if I ever find that, we'll have a look at it. Anyway, here's the parts. Zoom no longer is happy, if you see what I mean. I no longer have a happy zoom on this camera. Sprayed them a very grim basic silver. Is patchy. I quite like it, but really it's just going to be an undercoat for further layers, which I will do a practice run on, because metallic paint is a tricky beast at the best of times. But I'm sure, as anybody who watches my stuff on a regular basis knows, I do like a rather uneven textured surface, a variety of colours coming together. Markings, transparent stuff in a polythene bag, so it's just shiny really, along with the rest of it. So let's get on with our shiny thing. Vampire. Shiny vampire. I imagine them rather dusty. Yeah. Well, here we go with a shiny vampire. Just worth a quick look at the instructions. There we are with the history, details and so on. Then we have the usual study drawings and practice assembly, blah blah blah. Goes on for various nations, which is rather nice. And then more nations, which is really excellent. It's very positive for the marketing department, I suppose. And then we finally get to the instructions, and not surprisingly, because it's not a big model, the instructions are only 2 sides, whereas all the other stuff is another 4 sides. Some tree sacrificed itself for all of that. Oh, that young lady won't be happy, will she? What's she called? Glenda or something? I can't remember. The one who gets angry about things. Just on a side thing, talking about people getting angry about the climate and stuff like that. Have we forgotten about trees? Because it used to be, don't cut trees down, we need all the trees we can get. And then there's a carbon thing, and trees are made of carbon. But we don't seem to be so stressed about cutting trees down. Is that just the way the news is parcelled out, edited? If so, they're leaving a bit of a gap in the market there, aren't they? Anyway, we're going to look at paper and plastic. So the first stage is done. It's a shame it's black, isn't it? So the interior is down as black, which I know is quite common, and I will be doing some paintwork on that, and while bits of it were drying, other bits I've stuck on. So wheel, hatches, bits of the tail plane, and the tanks and inlet. So it's all slowly coming together in sort of bit by bit, leaving things on the sprue, as is wise I find at times, otherwise I lose them. That's it for now, so moving on swiftly. An inlet is on a river. It's an intake. You knew that. There's the fuselage, the small pod, looks very sci-fi, and the interior of the cockpit all went in. It's all gone okay. Just the tip of the nose is springing open, even though I've got glue on it, and I held it for 2 minutes. It's still sprung open. So it's one of those I would look into it, but if that's an element, thank you, if that's an element of the model, then I'll leave it so that we can see it and talk about it in the future. So yeah, that's coming along. A few other bits done on the sprue, so time to kind of pull them together, I think. And we're down to the main bits now, but look, I do like that air intake section. That's rather nice. I need to glue it, but it's really quite, you know, there's a sturdy power sensation coming from that. It all gets covered up, sadly, but never mind, it's really good. And since we last spoke, these bits have come together, and predictable, you may say. Well, the point is, no glue has been used whatsoever. It's all just clipped together, and the only real dodgy spot is there. So I'm going to pop that out and trim it, and therefore glue will be used in that point. But everything else has just slipped in and worked a treat. That's good. Now that'll have to do for part 1. Thank you for watching, and do come back for part 2, despite my disclaimer, which is coming up right now, which goes, don't get your hopes up. There are cockpit canopy problems. The fit is odd, but apart from that, you know, it's all the usual really. So do come back for more. Thank you, see you again soon.